President Trump, I just saw your press conference with President Putin, and it was embarrassing. I mean, you stood there like a little fanboy. I mean, I was asking myself, when are you going to ask him for an autograph or for a selfie or something like that? I mean, you literally sold out at this press.
You might remember back during the writers' strike in 2007, when the entertainment industry nearly came to a standstill, and people were debating whether political leaders should step in to force a resolution. At the time, when reporters asked Arnold Schwarzenegger about the situation while he was serving as governor, he answered with humor. He joked that sometimes you wish you could lock the studio executives and union leaders in a room the way his father once did when he and his brother argued as kids and tell them they couldn't come out until the problem was solved. Of course, he quickly acknowledged that politics doesn't work that way. Even a governor cannot physically force people together or threaten to cut off food and bathrooms until an agreement appears. Still, that mixture of humor and blunt honesty has always made Schwarzenegger an unusual voice in American public life. That same tone resurfaced as political chaos continued to erupt around Donald Trump's rallies and speeches, including a recent appearance in Iowa, where Trump stood before supporters claiming he had defeated inflation and stabilized the economy. During the speech, hecklers in the crowd repeatedly interrupted him, forcing him to pause, shout back toward protesters, and complain about the media and what he described as paid agitators disrupting the event.
Last Republican. He's really the last Republican from California, the last guy who got elected in this state.
Well, I mean, let me tell you something. We're talking here about saving democracy. What I suggest that the way we save democracy nationwide.
The scene quickly took on an almost surreal quality, like political theater drifting into something closer to a late-night comedy sketch. That strange atmosphere became even more noticeable when an unexpected pairing entered the conversation: Jimmy Kimmel and Arnold Schwarzenegger. At first glance, the combination seemed unlikely, a late-night comedian and a Republican action movie legend. Yet their responses to Trump's rhetoric ended up aligning in a way that drew attention and frustration from Trump supporters. Schwarzenegger is not the typical Hollywood critic Trump often portrays in speeches. He is a Republican who once served as governor of California, an immigrant who arrived in the United States at the age of 21 with little money and built an extraordinary career. Over the decades, he became a world champion bodybuilder, a global movie star, a successful businessman, and eventually a politician. As the star of films like The Terminator, he became one of the most recognizable figures in entertainment. Because of that background, his criticisms of Trump carry a different tone than those from traditional political opponents.
That we let people know, okay, so that's how our president feels. But that doesn't mean we should stop everything. We don't have to wait for the president. 70% of the pollution is getting reduced on a local and state level.
For years, Schwarzenegger has warned about the dangers he believes come from political language that divides people. His criticism became especially strong after the 2017 rally in Charlottesville when Trump said there were very fine people on both sides. In response, Schwarzenegger released a widely shared video explaining that hatred and bigotry cannot be balanced as if they were equal arguments. He also spoke about his childhood in Austria, where he grew up surrounded by men whose lives were deeply shaped by the aftermath of the Nazi era. Because of that history, he often says he understands how misinformation and division can slowly damage a democracy. His warnings became even stronger after the 6th of January attack on the U.S. Capitol, when he compared the moment to historical episodes that showed how fragile democratic systems can become when truth loses its influence. Meanwhile, Trump continued delivering rally speeches filled with dramatic claims about the economy, including statements that prices were falling sharply and that affordability problems had already been solved. At times, his remarks drifted into unusual tangents, joking about supporters hugging him at events or accusing political opponents and protesters of being part of organized conspiracies. This is where the unexpected connection between Schwarzenegger and Jimmy Kimmel became interesting. While Schwarzenegger has spent years criticizing Trump's rhetoric about democracy, Kimmel has focused on another issue: attempts by Trump allies to pressure media institutions and regulators, especially the Federal Communications Commission, to punish television programs that mock him. What many people forget is that Schwarzenegger himself became part of an important legal precedent years earlier. In 2006, during his re-election campaign as governor of California, he appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. His Democratic opponent complained to the FCC, arguing that the equal time rule required television networks to give opposing candidates the same airtime. The commission ultimately ruled that late, night talk shows qualify as legitimate news and interview programs. Because of that decision, they are exempt from the equal time rule, a precedent that still shapes how political figures appear on entertainment television today.